Hey, what's up? It's Pavi, and I'm back here with another newsletter, another update, new month, new newsletter. It's just a common tradition now. So with October, lots happened. I don't even know where to start. But first, a really cool opportunity came to me, and in the next few hours, I'm actually going to the airport to go to Lisbon, Portugal to speak at WebSummit, which is going to be so exciting. But also during October, I did a patent sprint at TKS Activate for 2 weeks. I dove really deep into AI and decided a project I really want to do within voice-based biomarkers and wrote an article about it, and even released a new episode of the Remind podcast. So lots of stuff happened, and I'm here to break it all down and give you guys the real deal of what's been up in the past 30 days. So let's get into it. Okay, so I think it's important to actually address the elephant in the room, WebSummit. So WebSummit is one of the world's largest tech conferences held every single November in Lisbon, Portugal. So I've actually been selected on behalf of TKS to go and speak there alongside 5 other activators and alum, and it should be a super fun experience. So we're actually heading there literally later tonight. It's like in a few hours of heading up to the airport. It should be a really fun time. It's roughly 4 days of a conference, and there's going to be lots of interesting talks. I'm going to be speaking on 3 different stages, and I also get to meet some really valuable people. So a little bit about the talks and the panels that I'm on. So the first day, November 2nd, I'm on a panel regarding Gen Z and the future of investing on the Money Conference stage with the CEO of Zumo and CEO of Shares alongside Upton, who is a YouTuber and influencer. So this panel is essentially all about Gen Z and the future of investing. So, things like meme stocks, impact investing, crypto, and different trends that we've seen and how Gen Z fits into that trend. And then later that day, November 2nd, I'm actually going to be on the Corporate Innovation Summit stage with Ciara, who is a fellow activator. And we're going to be giving a talk on essentially how companies can incorporate Gen Z into their business, kind of what they're doing wrong and what they can actually change, and also the value that we can provide to them and why they should even consider, changing their ways for Gen Z. So it should be an interesting talk, and I think it'll lead to a lot of interesting conversations because the audience is completely C-suite execs. And finally, the last panel that I'm going to be on is on the final day of WebSummit, so November 4th, and it's going to be a health tech panel, which I'm super excited about. So it's with the CEO of WHO Foundation, CEO of Chopra Foundation, and also the CEO of Global Citizen Forum. And we're going to be talking all about healthcare accessibility. And if you've been following me for a little bit, you know that that's a lot of what I do, healthcare accessibility and, the medical evolution and things like that. So very interested to go on that panel. It's going to be, I think, 30 minutes, and it should be a really interesting conversation. So lots and lots of things happening on stages, but also aside from that, tons of valuable conversations. Can't wait to go to Lisbon and can't wait to meet everyone there. So if you're going to be there, I might meet you there. All right, so on the topic of healthcare accessibility, this month I also dove a little bit deeper into my passion for healthcare accessibility and how we can use AI, specifically voice-based biomarkers, to actually tackle the issue. So voice-based biomarkers, I think I might have touched on this in my last newsletter, but it's all about speaking into some type of device that can take your input signals, turn them into frequencies, and then actually detect a disease you might have. So I dove really deep into a research paper and actually made a little Loom video about half of the research paper, so I'll link that in the description, explaining the basis of what I want this huge project to be about. But to actually dive deeper into that and to be able to create this, I have to have a strong foundation, which I don't really have in AI right now. So the plan over the next month within November is hopefully to build 2 projects within machine learning, NLP, and understand the fundamentals, but also start building the components of this project. And to actually understand it all and to start diving deeper into the space, I actually wrote an article called Hey Alexa, What's My Diagnosis? All about how we can actually use, voice assistants like Alexa or Siri to incorporate this new evolution of healthcare and also healthcare accessibility. So I'll drop that alongside the Loom video in the description. You guys can check it out and let me know what you think. Alrighty, and over the past 2 weeks of Activate, we actually did a patent sprint. So patents are very valuable in the sense that you can dive really deep into new advancements in technologies and, propose them into new companies. Now, one thing that I found really interesting about patents is that a lot of people create them but don't really know an application for them. That blew my mind. They created a patent but don't know where they can actually input it and use it. So in Activate over 2 weeks, we looked into specifically a patent with a group. We dove into it, understood how it worked, but also tried to find a potential application for it and then reach out to people to make it real. So I think that the one thing about patents is obviously they're very confusing to understand and read, but they hold so much valuable information that can actually lead to so many advancements in fields. So my group and I, we actually looked into biosensors. And the technical problem of biosensors is that they have a lack of sensitivity. So essentially, if you don't really know what biosensors are, if you think back to COVID times, there were these green boxes that were appearing literally anywhere and everywhere across the world. And those green boxes were these little rapid COVID tests, also known as very simple biosensors. So biosensors take any type of biomarkers, so you can take your saliva or a little bit of blood or anything like that, and they detect the biomolecules. They have target molecules and the biomolecules and try to figure out what disease you have, or if you are susceptible, or it's true or false if you have a disease. So the issue with current biosensors is that their sensitivity is not as high as it should be, and sensitivity just allows for more precision and accuracy. So what we looked into was actually a silicon nanowire FET biosensor. So essentially bringing it down to the nanoscale and increasing sensitivity through adding two sensing nanowires, or a sensing nanowire and then an FET wire. And that would increase the sensitivity of these biosensors. And I think this application can literally be applied to any biosensor to increase the speed, increase the accuracy, the precision, literally anything and everything. And I'll actually dropped a patent below because I think it's super interesting. And it really does show how you can dive deep into anything, literally biosensors, nanotech, wireless electricity, anything and everything like that. Find an issue, look into a patent, and then actually apply it to different companies and issues. So very interesting 2 weeks that we had. And finally, we had another release of an episode of Remind. Obviously, I feel like it's in every newsletter, but Remind is a podcast I have with two of my friends, and we talk a lot about world problems, but also different mindsets. So this month, we had a podcast episode about serendipity. So serendipity is a super interesting concept of basically cultivating luck for yourself. And so we talked a lot about that, but also different use cases and where this came from and how you can actually use serendipity in your life and actually cultivate it. So it's going to be, again, in the description box, and hopefully you guys find it valuable. And then we're also going to be releasing tons of new episodes in the coming months, so make sure to subscribe to that. Alrighty, and I think that about concludes everything that happened in the month of October. Lots of valuable conversations, but also lots of new learnings with speaking, but also new episodes of Remind, patent sprints, and AI. So next month, the goal is really to actually create a few AI projects and have a solid goal of how I want this voice-based biomarker project to go. Start breaking up and building components of it, talking to valuable people about it, crushing it at WebSummit, and also releasing some cool Remind episodes. See you guys next time. Bye.